we're all going to wake up and go, yeah, why are we driving our own cars? Why isn't there a self-driving car in every city, in every parking lot? And we're going to have an aha moment in 24 months or 36 months or 48 months where we're all like, why do I own this car that I have to drive myself? And you can apply that to payroll systems and collection systems and bidding systems. And there's an odd moment where, hey, do I deploy some of this AI today, or do I wait just 2 months and see what's out there?
Welcome to the Ultimate Guide to Partnering. I'm Vince Menzione, your host, and my mission is to help leaders like you achieve your greatest results through successful partnering. We just came off Ultimate Partner Live at Carahsoft Training Center in Reston, Virginia. Over 2 days, we gathered top leaders to tackle the real shifts shaping our industry. If you weren't in the room, this episode brings you right to the edge of what's next. Let's dive in.
I am incredibly privileged in many respects. I feel like I had to keep pinching myself for just life in general, and just the amazing opportunities that just happenstance come our way in so many forms and functions. I want to save the time with Craig when he comes up here, but because I don't want to steal the thunder of the conversation. But what an incredible organization he's built. I just want to say thank you. I said this a little bit earlier. The team of people that have just surrounded my team and supported us doing our event here has been incredible. Like, they don't need to do this. They don't need to make their facilities available to organizations like ours. They make them available to some of their top partners, some of which are in the room here today, or going to be up on stage over the next 2 days. And I talk about mindset, and I will say, I haven't even talked to him about this, but I think that mindset really drives how organizations thrive. And so hopefully you'll see this demonstrated, like all these principles that I talked about briefly. You'll see this demonstrated in different ways over the next couple of days, just by some of the conversations that we'll have in the room. So without further ado, Craig Abod, I'd love to invite you to the stage here. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us. So Craig, just because there may be people in the room who don't know you, but I know there are some people in the room that do. Maybe just a little bit your title and role at Carahsoft. And is it on?
Guys, thanks everybody for coming out. Vince mentioned the building. 4 years ago, we said, hey, we ought to use this building for more than just what it was being used for. And we started offering it to our vendors and reseller partners for big events and little events. And so far this year, we've had 40,000 visitors in the building. Wow. For events like this. There's a Coast Guard event going on downstairs. 2 Saturdays ago, we had a charity event in the building. And it's been really a good privilege to be able to do this. We're a little bit uniquely positioned to loan the space out to people, and it's been fun. So where did we come from? We're 21 years in business. We should end this year a little over $22 billion in bookings. We've grown about $3 billion a year for the last 3 years. We're up more this year than we were last year. A little bit. Somebody said, in spite of all the turmoil that's going on in the public sector market, and maybe it's a little bit because of all the turmoil, we've sort of centralized a lot of stuff, and a lot of the vendor ecosystem supports us. So 21 years ago, we had a unique opportunity to start a business, and have developed it into.
It's funny, it was on.
We're going to switch to mic 4.
Okay, good. That's good.
And we've developed it into a business that helps our vendors and the channel routes to market ecosystem and our government customers find technology, acquire technology, and then successfully deploy technology. And if you take those 3 things, 20 years ago, what we found was there was a lot of activity from the manufacturers trying to find government customers that needed their product. And there was a lot of work by the reseller community at the procurement office door, just trying to close a deal. But those two were really, really disconnected. And we got in the market with a sales and marketing kind of mindset into the market, and found, if you do a lot of selling and marketing at the front end, you might not get the order at the back end. Yeah. And helped the vendor community sort of figure out that deal reg was important and demand creation was important, but you got to reward the right partners. And 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, an interesting phenomenon where a lot of partners were still in a direct mindset. We started taking on a lot of small companies, a lot of emerging tech companies. And what we found was the VCs were telling them, hey, if you don't start to build out a channel today, you're going to be a really, really tough business a year or two from now, when all your founder-led sales and all the sales you can generate on your own, when you've plateaued that, if you don't have a channel out there helping you sell and helping your customers deploy the technology, you're going to be flat. And all the VCs said, hey, we don't want to invest in a company that's going to get to 100 million and be stuck there. And a lot of the VCs have embraced sort of, hey, bring your products into Carahsoft because we can help you get into the rest of the ecosystem. So a little bit about our beginning, a little bit about where we end up here today.
I find it fascinating because I don't know anyone that's doing what you're doing. And kudos to you for doing it. But I talk about growth mindset, but you have maybe because you do have a unique market, you have kind of the government sector, but you have expanded beyond that. What got you started? Like you've been in DC your whole life, I think. What was the spark? Because you were at other organizations before Carahsoft. What was the spark that got you started to do this versus what you were doing prior? Well, I'll go 20 years back, Pat. Before we started, I went to work for a guy named Dendy Young, who started to sell into the government back when it wasn't as big a market. And he had 2 different businesses, a big integration business and a business distributing at the time Apple into the government. And it was really a good first job. I was with him until he sold both his companies. And you got to do a million different things and learn the business from the top down. And I've told this to still friends with him. I've told him, hey, I learned a lot about things to do and a lot about things not to do. And then 21 years ago, we had an opportunity to build this ourselves and took the opportunity. That explains quite a bit. I remember GTSI was the one company that they were the behemoth. They were the biggest player out there at the time. Yeah, and that was incredible. So now I understand that spark. What were some of the? So we talked about it seems like it's easy what you've done, but it doesn't feel like anything is easy when you're growing a business, especially at $22 billion. Everybody's sitting in this room probably saying, well, help me get there. I certainly want to know how to get there. But what were some of the obstacles you faced in the beginning that you had to overcome? And what do you think helped you get here? I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, so I think there's two sides to it. When we first started, we went to a couple of the big vendors, and they had zero use for us. They had no need at all. And thank God I was at one meeting with a big vendor who said, Craig, you could do all that sales and marketing, you could do all that stuff for us, but you will never ever get an order. All our deals are big ELAs. You'll never get in that market. So we regrouped a little bit and we went and talked to a lot of little emerging technology companies. And we built the business in the beginning around some emerging technologies that are today really, really big businesses. I have a story about our first trip to go talk to Salesforce, and Salesforce wasn't the Salesforce we know today. Nobody was really interested in the cloud. Nobody in the government needed a CRM, and we took Salesforce on. Their IPO was $120 million initial cash inflection from their IPO. We have a single customer today that buys bigger than $120 million deal today.
Wow.
And we took on VMware before VMware was VMware. Today it's a $2 billion franchise with us. All of the stuff we do for Broadcom. Splunk is about $1 billion now, part of Cisco. And when we took on Splunk, I sort of was like, guys, this is I don't even understand what this word Splunk is. Who's picking this vendor? So we had some good fortune with the little guys. And today our business is, hey, we take care of some really, really big guys in the market. We take care of AWS, Azure, Google. We have almost $1 billion Google business. And we still take care of, I'm going to call it 1,000 emerging technology companies that those VCs are bringing us, that our government customers are bringing us, that our channel ecosystem. So it's been a tale of big and small, big vendors and small vendors. We take care of big channel partners in the Leidos and GD and Northrops, all the way down to little companies that are just getting started, and we've got a path in that helps the little companies, and sort of big orders and small orders. One of the things that we're really, really proud of is that, hey, we take care of the smallest customers as same way we would take care of the biggest customers.
Wow.
And half of our orders, so 120,000 orders, combined add up to less than 1% of our revenue. Now, 1% of our orders account for half of our revenue, and then 49%. And the message there is, though, for our vendors, for the channel partners that we support, and for our government customers, hey, they still need to buy one copy of something, and there's got to be somebody there that takes care of that. And we said, hey, how does my customer trust me for their $30 million deal if they don't trust me for their literally $30 deal? And we built a business around this operational excellence that, hey, we take care of the big guys. Really easy to understand how you take care of the big guys. Hard to figure out how you take care of all those small customers and small vendors and small resellers and do it at scale. And that's been the challenge, but also one of the big drivers in our growth.
That's incredible. Did you feel like those smaller organizations that were on a growth trajectory helped drive the hyperscalers to you? Because I assume the hyperscalers came later, probably. Yeah.
So building out sort of ecosystems of partners, we kind of started to do that really consciously 8 or 9 years ago, and now have some significant ecosystems around either customer segments or technology segments. You talk about the ecosystem and marketplaces. If I pick on Salesforce one more time,
sure,
we represent about 120 of the Salesforce App Exchange partners, and every Salesforce deal we do has every other Salesforce deal we do. So half our orders have at least one of those other add-on products that run and enable. And one of our biggest customers, and one of Salesforce's biggest customers, it might be Salesforce's biggest customer, but I only see my orders. I don't see all their orders. They buy $150 million worth of Salesforce every year, and they buy $20 million worth of all those little add-on products. And we think we're taking really good care of those little guys, but that customer wouldn't be getting the ROI on that system if they weren't getting all those ecosystem partners. And then one of our sort of verticals that we support around this, sort of ecosystem mentality, one of our verticals is healthcare, and we're doing close to $1 billion in enterprise healthcare today, plus government healthcare. And we had a small emerging healthcare company, and we look at healthcare as both the customer set as well as the technology set. So I sell into healthcare products that everybody buys, and I also sell into healthcare products that only healthcare buys. We had a small healthcare VC funded company, and they came to us and they talked to us, explained their product, everybody was super excited, and then the CEO said, "But I'm not going to let you sign you up unless you really have a healthcare practice." And I went, "Wait, hold it. We do." And we gave him our healthcare practice pitch, and it was that sort of moment where, hey, wait, these ecosystems and verticals have really become important, and that translates into what we do with AWS. We've run 200 different vendors through marketplace transactions in the last 12 months. We're in the intelligence community marketplace. We're in their regular marketplace. So figuring out how customers get best ROI on those kind of investments has been important.
And you're in other verticals as well, right? You're in the education's market and other markets.
So federal, state and local, education, both higher ed and K through 12, healthcare, the defense industrial base, and then we're helping our vendor partners where they need us in commercial and enterprise. We do a lot of, we call it long tail work, where our vendors come to us and say, "Hey, you do this really, really well for me in government. Can you help me with all my small orders in their enterprise and in their commercial segments, which they're not doing for lots of different reasons, not doing really, really well. They're not tuned for those small orders." We have one partner that brought us a big bucket of almost a shoebox full of customers that didn't renew over the last 24 months and said, "Here, you guys want to take these.
Wow.
So a lot of those kind of things are pulling us into enterprise and commercial markets.
I'd love to know the convert rate on those. Pretty high?
I'll tell you, it was a $5 million bucket of business. We showed back up in 90 days with $2 million worth of business. And I was like, "What's our secret? What did we do?" And the sales manager said, "We called the customer and we got the customer quote." But it was the manufacturer. The manufacturer was just not set up and skilled at calling hundreds and hundreds of $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 customers. But what they found is if you lose those little customers, those are the ones that grow into 50K customers, and the 50K customers go into $1 million orders. So you got to take care of those little. Every tree started as a seed. Not every seed grows into a tree, but if you don't take care of those seeds, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's a great philosophy. So, we talk about tectonic shifts. I mean, the world is rapidly changing. I'd love to get your perspective. I mean, what you've seen in the 20 years of Carahsoft and even before Carahsoft, to what we're seeing now in terms of technology transformation. And, we'll talk about AI. I'm sure AI is part of all the conversations here in the room as well. But what are you seeing in terms of, and how are you positioning to lead in this time of transformation?
Yeah, so I think we're in an interesting, clearly we're in an interesting time. There's an old adage that technology changes faster than we think it will in the long term, but a lot slower than we think it will in the short term. And we're in this mode of where, boy, everybody's seeing all this great technology out there. And I think everybody's having a hard time digesting it, and their expectations that technology is going to do something really, really good and really, really fast is tremendous high. So we're investing a lot in, hey, how do we enable our partners better, and how do we enable our partners to go enable their customers? And every day we're having, I'll call them forward deployed engineer conversations, but it's a bigger and different topic than forward deployed engineers. But hey, how do we get this technology into the right customers and get them to get a quick ROI? I tell a story that I think is something that I consider it sort of a not successful story for me. We had a really, really good partner that won a contract, and he's implementing a system for a government agency, and he's explaining to me, "Hey, I got this thing, and we're building the system for the government, and it's really, really cool, and it's going to do all this great stuff." And I go, "But why are you doing that?" He goes, "Guys, we won this contract. Like, this is the best day of our lives." And I said, "No, but why are you doing that?" He said, "Craig, I don't understand what you're talking about." I go, "You're building a system that like 8 other people have already built. Why don't you just take something that's already built into the government?" And so that helping our government customers find technology, helping them acquire technology, and helping them deploy it successfully before they go hire, God bless them, a really good partner, a really good integrator. to go build it from scratch. And I think it's a measure of the difficulty our customers are having sorting through everything and getting to the right solution for themselves.
I also think that speaks volumes about trust. We talk about most organizations, vendor, partner, being able to have that conversation, Craig. Do you agree? I mean, it just seems like you're trusted to have a conversation like that with them.
Well, where we are in the market, right, we sit firmly between the government, the partner ecosystem, and the vendor. And hey, it's really easy for those two guys to talk and figure out that, oh, wait, the problem here is that Carahsoft didn't do stuff. So we end up being the guys who, okay, the vendor needs something to get a deal done. The partner doesn't have that capability. And the government says, yeah, but I'm not placing the order unless I have that. And we're end up being the guys sort of in the middle, sort of gladly pulling all those pieces together. And trust is on all three sides is pretty important.
I love it. I kind of put you on the spot here about AI because you kind of alluded to this, but do we think we're over pivoting too quickly, or we're talking about it constantly, right? I mean, what's your perspective is what I would ask about that.
So I don't think we're over pivoting, and I think we're all going to wake up. And I told somebody, we're all going to wake up and go, yeah, why are we driving our own cars? Why isn't there a self-driving car in every city, in every parking lot? And we're going to have an aha moment in 24 months or 36 months or 48 months where we're all like, why do I own this car that I have to drive myself? And you can apply that to payroll systems and collection systems and bidding systems and lots of different systems in the government. But I think that there's an odd moment where, hey, do I deploy some of this AI today, or do I wait just 2 months and see what's out there then?
Yes.
I tell people, hey, what's worse than graduating from college and having $100,000 in student loan debt? What's worse is not graduating from college and still having $100,000 in student loan debt. And hey, if you pick up technology today and make a generational change on your technology, and it's the wrong one, and you do it too soon because stuff's changing so quickly, we're in an interesting time, and these decisions our customers are making are really important.
So $3 billion, you've added $3 billion to the top line each of the last 3-4 years. Is that what's next? I mean, where do you take this? It seems like you've, I would say, lack of a better term, conquered the government market, and maybe also moving down this road with verticalization. What's the next chapter look like for Carahsoft?
Yeah. So we do a couple $2 billion in hardware, and that hardware business for us is growing significantly. It's a little bit, the conversations and workflows are different in hardware than it is in software. And so I think I've got a $10 billion hardware business that's sitting at $2 billion. And we're in the education market, and we do $1 billion in education. There's probably a $10 billion market that we're not there yet. And then our commercial business is over $1 billion, and that's a $10 billion market. And then one piece that underlays all that is we support $1.5 billion worth of implementation services that get done in the market that go through us, and every dollar of that, with one kind of exception that involves some clearances, 99% of that $1.5 billion we take and bring those deals to an implementation partner or an MSP or to the manufacturer, and that building out that solution and services capability so that our partners can get better access to selling those services to the customer, and the customer gets faster deployment, is something that we're really focused on. And that $1.5 billion could be a a $3 or $4 or $5 billion business if a few pieces fall into place.
That's fascinating because we think the MSP market is ripe for transformation. We're going to even have a session on MSPs today. But these are mostly MSPs that have clearances, that have the capabilities and clearances, or no?
It's MSPs that deploy for state and local, they deploy for education, they deploy into defense industrial base. What we find is if we have a lead generation conversation with a customer, and the next meeting we can pull in an MSP or implementation partner that has implemented the same solution for another town or the same solution for another customer, our probability of win goes from 20% to 80 or 90%, and the speed it takes to get the deal done goes from a year down to 6 months because the customer's comfortable that they've got the right partner who can implement it and has done it before. And the partners like us because, hey, you're bringing me into a customer that's the exact right fit for them.
It's fascinating. I don't want to make you blush but I feel like you're unique. I really do. I speak to many leaders in this industry, and what you've done is incredibly unique, Craig. And I mean, just this incredible business you've built, your philosophy, your mindset around it. I don't hear this from most CEOs and presidents of organizations. So I need to call that out. And for those of you, I just want to take a moment here because I do think what Craig has done to this organization for our industry are learnings that we all could take forward in terms of how we grow the business. And we do this very rarely. We don't do like a lot of awards. We do basically 2 awards a year. And Craig, I talked to the team before we came out here and we said, the work that your team is doing, it's demonstrated in what we see. And then everyone we talk to, so many of your partners are in the room speaking at this event too. We could rattle off a bunch of names. I don't want to just call out one. But I've heard so many incredible stories about what Carahsoft does and how it represents the partnership world that we wanted to recognize you as well. We do a leadership award, but we also wanted to do this year a separate partner award. And so on behalf of Ultimate Partner, on behalf of our community, I want to recognize you as our Partner of the Year award winner. And
thank you.
I want to thank you for everything you do for our industry. And then it's small, but it's mighty. I understand it's pretty heavy here, but just maybe I think they'll want to take a picture of this with you. And I just want to thank you, A, for inviting us to your beautiful facility, B, for engulfing us with incredible support. Your team has just been incredible to work with. And just being a voice of advocacy in this partnership world, that's a really great voice. It's a voice of understanding reason, about trust, around collaboration. I don't see this at all. And we just really want to thank you for everything you do for this community.
Vince, thanks, Vince, thanks. And we appreciate you guys doing this event here. Nothing better than having a room full of great people here. And I appreciate the recognition on behalf of the whole company. So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Wow.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ultimate Guide to Partnering. We're bringing these episodes to you to help you level up your strategy. If you haven't yet, now's the time to take action and think about joining our community. We created a unique place, UPX, or Ultimate Partner Experience. It's more than a community, it's your competitive edge. With insider insights, real-time education, and direct access to people who are driving the ecosystem forward, UPX helps you get results. And we're just getting started, as we're taking this studio and we'll be hosting live stream and digital events here, including our January live stream, the Boca Winter Retreat, and more to come. So visit our website, theultimatepartner.com, to learn more and join us. Now's the time to take your partnerships to the next level.